Hey everyone. So, you probably talk to your AI assistant all the time, right? But have you ever really stopped and asked yourself, who is it actually working for? Today, we're diving into a project called IronClaw, which is basically flipping the entire script on personal AI by putting your security and your privacy right at the very top. Let's see how they're pulling it off.
I mean, it's such a simple question, but the answer can get pretty murky, can it? When you ask your AI to do something, anything, search the web, set a reminder, where does all that information go? And maybe more importantly, whose interests is it serving in the long run? This is the exact question that kicked off the entire project we're looking at today.
So, this really lays out the two different paths we can go down. On one hand, you've got the typical AI we're all used to. Your data gets sent off to the cloud, it's used in ways you can't really see, and, well, it's usually serving some big corporate interest. But IronClaw is proposing a totally different way. Your data stays right there on your device, the AI works for you, and you are always in control. Okay, so that's a great vision. But how do you actually make it happen? Well, you build something like IronClaw, a project that was designed from the absolute ground up to be the answer to all these problems. This right here, this is the core philosophy, taken straight from the project itself. It's simple, it's direct, and man, is it powerful. It's a mission statement that says, hey, it's time to put you back in the driver's seat of your own AI. And that whole philosophy rests on these four main pillars. Your data stays yours. That means everything's stored locally, everything's encrypted. Transparency by design. It's open source, so anyone, and I mean anyone, can pop the hood and see exactly how it works. Self-expanding capabilities. This is cool. It means the AI can actually build new tools for itself when it needs them. And finally, defense in depth, which is the super layered security system we're about to break down. You know, promising security is one thing, but building a legitimate fortress for your data, that takes some serious engineering. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of how IronClaw actually does this. Okay, so at the very heart of IronClaw's security is this thing called a WASM Sandbox. And that analogy, a digital playroom, is just perfect. Imagine any new tool the AI wants to use is like a guest visiting your house. Now, instead of letting them just wander around everywhere, you put them in a special room where they can play. But they can't touch anything important unless you give them specific permission. That's exactly what the sandbox does. And this is what defense in depth really looks like in practice. It's not just one wall, it's a whole multi-step checkpoint. First, any tool gets locked in that sandbox. Then, the system checks if it's even allowed to talk to the website it wants to. After that, it gets scanned to make sure it's not trying to leak your secrets. Only then are your credentials securely passed along just for that one task. And to top it all off, even the information coming back gets scanned for leaks. It is an incredibly thorough process. And believe it or not, the layers just keep on coming. Credential protection means your passwords or API keys, they are never directly shown to the tools themselves. And prompt injection defense, this is so important, it stops bad actors from hiding malicious commands inside of a website or a document to try and trick your AI. It's a truly comprehensive security model, and it's all designed to build trust. But look, an AI assistant can't just be a secure vault, right? It also has to be smart and capable and, actually helpful. So let's talk about how IronClaw isn't just safe, but also surprisingly powerful and adaptable. Now, this is one of the features that is just a total game changer. Most AI assistants, they come with a fixed set of tools, and that's it. IronClaw is completely different. You can literally just describe a new tool you need, like, say, a tool to convert currencies, and it will write the code and build that new tool for you on the fly. It's not just giving the AI a fish, it's teaching it how to fish. To really get why IronClaw is designed this way, it helps to see where it came from. It was inspired by another project called OpenClaw, but it's a total rewrite with some very specific, very deliberate choices. Moving from TypeScript to Rust gives it a massive boost in performance and memory safety, and switching from Docker to a WASM Sandbox gives it a much lighter and more secure way to isolate tools. These aren't just small tweaks, these are fundamental upgrades. Okay, so we've dug into the what and the how, but what's the big picture? Why does a project like this really matter in the grand scheme of things for all of us? Take a look at this number, 95.3%. Any guesses what that is? That is the percentage of IronClaw's entire codebase that's written in Rust. That's a programming language that is famous for its speed, but more importantly, for its memory safety, which just flat out prevents whole categories of common security bugs from ever happening. And this chart just drives that point home.
This isn't some project where they just bolted on a few security features at the end. The commitment to safety and high performance is baked into its DNA, and you can see it right there, in the choice of language for over 95% of its code. That is a huge engineering decision. And all of this brings us to the ultimate takeaway. What a project like IronClaw shows us is that we don't have to accept this trade-off between having a powerful AI and having privacy. It proves that an AI that is genuinely yours, one that you own, you control, and you can actually trust, isn't just some fantasy. It is absolutely possible.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Just imagine for a second, if you had an assistant that you knew, without a single doubt, was working only for you, protecting your data every single step of the way. What would you feel comfortable letting it handle? What new ideas could you explore? What could you build with an AI that you could completely 100% trust?